Exactly, Marie. We'll have more on that later. Now, the specific plan has specific industries in mind, organized into tiers of priorities. The Nevada State Immunization Program, or SIP, or NSIP rather, is a branch under the State Department of Health and Human Services in charge of the program. Now, in this document, it outlines the basics of who, what, when, and where certain people can get the COVID-19 vaccine. But let's start with the who. The NSIP has divided the state workforce and population into 4 priority-based tiers. Now, this is the first tier, the top priority. This list includes healthcare workers, followed by long-term care and facility staff residents, and law enforcement, to name a few. This tier includes 12 professions, equating to roughly 170,000 people. Now let's move on to Tier 2. This includes educators, essential retail workers, and logistics supply chain workers. Tier 2 also includes 15 professions and roughly 200,000 people. Tier 3 is next. This will be the homeless population, people with underlying health conditions, and elderly Nevadans above the age of 65. This includes 6 different populations and just over 2 million people. Finally, there's the 4th and final tier. This is remaining healthy adults ages 18 to 64. That's estimated around 600,000 people. So when will this all begin? Well, today during a state COVID-19 task force meeting, officials were told the first vaccines could be here by December 15th.
Things are going to move very, very quickly. So we are focused on that weekend following the 10th and into the following week.
A medical procedure in demand during the pandemic, plastic surgery. New at 5, News 3's Max Darrow explains what's behind the drive.
I don't remember a point in my life where I've not been paranoid or worried about my nose, especially from the side.
Getting a rhinoplasty or a nose job was something on Kendra Griffin's mind for a long time.
Just to get this little bit nice and straight.
So in October, the local fitness instructor and personal trainer decided it was finally time.
Why did you decide to do this during the pandemic?
For me, doing the surgery, it would slow me down a lot and I wouldn't be able to work. But during the pandemic, I couldn't really work anyway. So business was slow and I was like, okay, this is like the perfect time to just do this.
The demand max is much higher, no question about it.
Board-certified plastic surgeon Dr. George Alexander did Griffin's procedure. He believes there are several reasons fueling the desire for pandemic procedures, including
there's time off is 1, 2 is Zoom meetings, 3 is mask wearing, 4 is family members' availability to help out.
There's a bit, I think, of a pent-up demand. Hair, nails, and Botox has been very popular as of late.
That's Dr. Jeffrey Roth, another board-certified plastic surgeon in Las Vegas. Some of his patients wanted procedures because they stare at themselves on video calls for hours and hours every day.
And so all of a sudden they're like, you know, doc, I hadn't noticed this before, but I really kind of don't like my neck or my jowls or my tip of my nose.
The good thing about masks in the pandemic, you can hide your disfigured nose.
Griffin is making progress with her recovery. Here she was immediately after the procedure, 5 days after, 8 days, 12, and today. Overall, she's glad she did it.
This was the perfect time because it gave me the downtime and the time to go and research, talk to people, and then kind of feel more comfortable and confident and actually find the right surgeon for me.
In Las Vegas, Max Darrow, News 3.
Yeah, that was a long hearing and definitely a victory for a lot of PUA claimants. The contempt ruling from Washoe County District Court Judge Barry Breslow is very specific, though. This one deals with about 9,500 PUA claimants who initially started to get paid only to have those payments stop.
The court believes that the 9,000, give or take, people who were caught up in that net, including some people we heard from today, should have been paid. If not by July 28th, then promptly thereafter. So the court finds the state in contempt for that reason and that reason only.
With that, Judge Barry Breslow concluded a day-long hearing that occasionally got spirited, sometimes between attorneys for the state and plaintiffs, and sometimes Breslow himself.
It offends the court a little bit the way you characterized compliance with the court order would lead to that level of process. I mean, let's get real here.
And a pointed exchange between Robert Whitney, representing DETR, and Mark Thierman on behalf of the unpaid PUA claimants on why DETR should be held in contempt.
This court issued a directive, and if nothing else, they should have come in and said, you know, Your Honor, we're going to take an immediate appeal. We want a temporary stay.
So I'd ask the court to consider, the fairness of imposing a contempt, finding of contempt on people that, frankly, haven't been in charge of the Employment Security Division for some time now.
Someone's got to reorder DETR's priorities. They have to pay these people because you ordered it.
Ultimately, Judge Breslow agreed with Thierman and held the state in contempt of court and made it clear he wants those PUA claimants whose payments started then stopped paid.
I am doubling down on the court's prior order of mandate. I'm directing the state today to pay those people that I've just identified no later than 3 weeks from today.
That's right. Good evening, everybody. The hearing wrapped up just a short time ago. Joe Biden beat Donald Trump here in Nevada by almost 34,000 votes. The Trump campaign claims that many of those votes, thousands of them, are illegal. Now, the hearing up in Carson City was before Judge James Russell. It involves a case Republicans are bringing on behalf of 6 Republican electors. At the heart of it are claims the presidential election here was riddled with what they claim are irregularities, improprieties, and fraud. The Republicans claim there were thousands of illegal votes. They claim enough to change the outcome of the election. They also took aim at the machine Clark County used to match mail ballot signatures, claiming it was imprecise and let faulty signatures get by. Here's the attorney for the Republicans, Jesse Banal.
You understand why it is so critical that there was not a robust effort to match signatures. They were putting more emphasis on their employees to get it done quick than to get it done right.
They offer hearsay evidence from people who thought that certain signatures looked strange. And I don't doubt that people could have differences of opinions about signatures, but that's not enough.
And that is the attorney for the Democrats, Kevin Hamilton. No decision today from the judge. We should note that other Nevada courts have looked at the Trump campaign case, and none has found evidence of voter fraud here in Nevada. In the newsroom, Jeff Gillen, News 3, back to you.